update now on a high-speed chase which is going on. This is the northeast side of town. You can see that vehicle right there. It's a sedan. It's being followed and surrounded by several police officers. It's the Houston police, as well as the county is out there. They have been on this guy for probably the last 10 to 15 minutes or so, and he just does not want to stop. The question is, what is his plan, and what does he want to do? I don't know whether we have Don Armstrong and Live in Sky Eye. Not sure who is up there, but once I get word on who is up there, they can give us a little bit further word as well on what's happening.
Don Armstrong.
Don, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Don. Yeah, what can you tell us? I mean, as I've been watching this, it's just he's not really going at a super high rate of speed, but he's certainly moving along at a clip that he clearly doesn't want to stop.
No, does not want to stop. And as you can see, the sheriff's car just joined in on this, mainly being chased by HPD. I think that's the way it started. We're coming up here on the Beltway, and as you can see, it looks as though that car is going the speed limit, to be honest with you, Art.
Yeah.
At first it was reported as a slow speed chase, but it's neither a high nor slow. It looks like it's going the speed limit. We don't know why this car is being stopped or having tried to be stopped, and why they are on the run. But obviously, as you can tell, that they're not pulling over for the number of deputies that are behind them, as well as Houston police officers. This is eventually going on now for about 10, 15 minutes, and at one point, just before you came to us, an HPD car pulled up next to it, and then this particular car, it looks like a silver Volvo, if I'm not mistaken, actually tried to, I wouldn't say sideswipe it, but moved over into the lane that the police car was in, so they backed off. But as you can see, other cars, other police vehicles are up ahead of them and behind them, so they're obviously not going to lose this chase.
You know, if there's anything, right, and if there's anything good to report here, Don, it's certainly that the freeway at this point is open. We're talking about 59 Northeast Harris County. This is the East Tex Freeway, so they're going to be approaching the Beltway, or is that the Beltway? No, that's just one of the ramps for, I think, the HOV, but they're going to be approaching the Beltway, is that right?
That's correct. And we're going to be coming up on Intercontinental Airport space, so not exactly sure whether they're going to let us transition through the airspace. We're just going to have to wait and see. That's our pilot's job, Randy Hardaway, who's piloting Sky Eye this afternoon.
Okay. You wonder whether he's going to take... You see cars pulled over there, so there must be officers way ahead, sort of clearing the path. And that's always so very dangerous, especially when you get a high-speed chaser, high-speed runner here. He just doesn't want to stop. You know that there are going to be problems, people on and off the freeway. And what they always attempt to do is just try and clear a way, make a path for the person so that he doesn't bump into anyone.
Well, it's amazing that at this time of the afternoon, the beginning of the afternoon rush, that there aren't many other cars on the freeway headed outbound to begin with. So, based on the speed of the car, you can tell that it's just not a problem. There is somewhat of a backup behind it because it is going slower than the rest of the freeway traffic, because as you know, most of Houston freeway traffic doesn't mind the speed limit anyway. Yeah,
and they just passed the North Beltway, by the way. There's... that was all the interchange, which you saw before that as you were on a wide shot. That was the northbound Beltway. So here they continue to move. And if at this point they're going to be reaching Kingwood soon, and who knows how long he's going to stay on this freeway. But he doesn't seem to be interested in making any exit, Don.
No, it doesn't appear to be. He's over in, looks like lane number 2. The second from the left, and it looks as though that they're headed up to East Texas. I don't know how else to put it. It's amazing that we're doing the speed limit here. I'm not quite sure why they allow this to continue. And why not do the pit maneuver on it? I understand that state law has changed, and in some cases that is allowed now. But it certainly is annoying that all of the traffic is backed up, and this is going to be a scene, as you know, when this finally comes to an end. And it just really puts a crimp in the afternoon drive.
Well, and they certainly had opportunity to do it, Don, as we watched the Houston Police Department as well as the county. They had surrounded this vehicle. They were right there on the side of it, and they could have easily done a pit maneuver because no one was in front. But Apparently, they just have to be very, very careful, especially at speeds when they're traveling at 60 miles an hour or higher. You know, you could cause a rollover if you're doing a pit maneuver.
And to that point, good afternoon, Don. This is Elisa Rivas here. I'm joining Art Ruscone. You know, as you get farther northbound right now, you head toward the river, you head toward Humble, Kingwood, as Art mentioned, and the highway starts to get elevated. So you do worry about causing any kind of a crash and causing some additional damage or injury that might go along with really going off of the freeway because this is such an unpredictable situation.
Right. Continuing to watch now, we're looking at a sedan, that gray one, right, silver one, right there in the middle. It continues to move. They have no intention of stopping. That's a pretty nice Volvo. You know, it has a V6 underneath that has the power to really move, but he's certainly not using that power. I mean, this guy's traveling the speed limit. We don't have any indication as to why he's running, though, right?
No, not as we know so far, Art. It just appears as that we're doing the speed limit in lane number 2, and we are headed northbound out of town, headed up to East Texas on the East Texas Freeway.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's thinking. You know, maybe he just thinks he's just out on a Sunday drive, and he's not aware of the police around him. But he has to be running for some reason. We don't know why. We're trying to gather that information. As soon as we do, we have our desk here looking into several indications as to why he might be running. There are multiple agencies clearly involved here. Houston Police Department is still all around him, as well as the county. You have the county. Chambers County. Did it start in Chambers County? Is that what we're hearing, Alana?
Yeah, they called and asked for some help from HPD.
Wow. Oh, okay. So if it started in Chambers, that's way south, yeah.
They just passed the park and ride. So they are now passing through Humble, getting out toward Kingwood. If we can see around us, are we seeing other law enforcement agencies like local PDs joining in on this? Are we seeing more law enforcement or just the same ones following this driver?
Well, we did see HPD and Harris County Sheriffs. I don't know whether they have dropped off, and I really don't want to lose sight of the person that is running. But as you can tell, Department of Public Safety is here, not only on the ground, but they're also in the air with us here following above. And one of the things that I did notice just a moment ago, the Department of Public Safety cruiser really flew past this car to try to get ahead of them. One of the issues here is the fact that if they're not going to do the pit maneuver, so are they going to place out spike strips? Well, if that's the case, they're going to have to clear the freeway so that officer can go ahead and lay out spike strips and somehow maneuver all of the traffic into one area where not everybody gets affected by the spike strips and only the person that's being pursued. We just don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, this could go on for miles the way it's looking right now.
I've seen spike strips used many, many times, and most of it is just, you know, it's a 12-foot strip. We're talking about an entire freeway that's 40, 50 feet long. They don't even have a spike strip that long. So they can easily maneuver themselves around those spike strips, especially on an open lane.
Yep, and you know, freeway. Something else that might be coming into play here, guys, is that we are hearing from the Chambers County Sheriff. This has been going on 20 to 25 minutes. It started as a traffic stop. No crime was committed, but they believe there is the possibility of that driver being impaired. Now, as we've been watching this particular part of the chase anyway, we haven't seen a lot of signs of that. Not a lot of erratic driving. This is definitely a driver that's staying in their lanes, but they have reason to believe that that driver may be impaired, so perhaps they're taking some extra precautions because of that as well. But as we said, we've been seeing pretty stable driving here.
Right. We haven't seen any erratic driving. He doesn't seem to be really speeding. You see that vehicle right there on the side on a different lane, which is on the other side. That's a lifted lane, the HOV. But he's not even going much faster than anyone else. Well, something's up ahead because everyone else is slowing down. Let's see what he does here. He's going off to the side. They've stopped traffic. He's just going to go right through there. They've probably forced him through an area where they had, did you see that, Don? It looks like spike strips through the entire street.
And that's what we're guessing.
Yeah, they had several of them.
I was not able to confirm that. You know, the other thing, too, Art, that I might want to mention is the fact that you don't know anything about this driver. This driver could be armed, and we have to approach it just that way, that we just don't know at this point exactly what's going to happen.
And it looks like it's slowing down.
Yeah, his vehicle is, all his tires are blown at this point. So let's see what he does. He's clearly off to the shoulder.
Almost at a stop, but then he kept rolling sort of at the last second there. But we do believe that those tires are probably flat because the slowdown happened right after we believe they drove over some spike strips. I know that you've got to sort of get positioned over all of these different overpasses here in this spot.
Let's see what this person does behind the wheel. But clearly those wheels are, it looks like they're flat. So the tires will start ripping up here. They'll start shredding soon, and he'll be on his rims or his wheels once those tires shred. So let's see what he continues to do.
They're using a lot of patience. They're just
they are.
Stay behind them and follow at a safe distance. You can see those police cruisers are not getting really, really close because Don made a great point. This could be an armed driver. They don't know what it is that they'll be up against when this vehicle comes to a stop, so they have to take all safety precautions.
Being very careful, and Don, what we have seen repeatedly is a lot of patience by Houston Police Department and even the county as well. With these chases, they sometimes just let them play out, believing that eventually they're going to stop. But there's opportunity to do something here. Go ahead.
To get him, bring him to a stop.
Yeah, looks like they may try and box him in here. Let's see if they have a vehicle up ahead. Right there on the side of him, they could probably, just, who knows, rolling down the window and trying to talk to him. I don't know. Let's see what's happening here.
I suppose if they feel like they don't need to get in an accident, there's probably no reason to. So they are probably wanting to make sure that this person does not exit the freeway. On the freeway, you're kind of trapped up there. There's retaining walls, but it looks like he's going to go for the exit, perhaps.
Look at the big pickup they have there. It has that front-end grill. That's like almost a ramming vehicle.
Yeah.
They have it all prepared.
Yeah, that was Kingwood Drive that we just saw, right?
Yeah, they're getting ready to exit here. That's the Kingwood outlet stores right there on the side. So they have it blocked. They're going to stop him. They have the guns drawn. They're telling him. They're yelling at him right now. You can see with their motion of their hand.
And this person is totally surrounded at this point.
Yeah.
Multiple officers, multiple agencies surrounding.
There's no place to go, but he's going to try and go. There he goes. He's going to go right around the officers. Well, that was attempt number one to stop him. Actually, number two, because the spike strips certainly didn't work.
Getting off of the East Tex Freeway at Kingwood Drive exit, as we saw, they're still really staying close to him, trying to get him to pull over.
Yeah,
well, let's see. Oh, okay, all right. Now this is where stupidity really comes into play here. Now he has reversed his position on the feeder, but there are so many officers around him. Ooh, they
finding ways through.
I think they missed a chance. They probably could have put that vehicle right there in front and stopped him, but he is going now the opposite direction on the feeder. He's clearly blocked by all of those other vehicles. No chance. Now he's going into the outlet store. Area right there. This is off of Kingwood Boulevard, right there, just off the feeder.
Yeah, this is obviously a spot where we're going to find plenty of other people, plenty of vehicles parked. And so, you certainly hope that people get the word that there's something going down and they need to stay inside and stay safe until this comes to an end because, the officers are specifically not, engaging him with their vehicles. They're not causing accidents. Yeah. They're just trying to let this peacefully play out. But it also looks like there's some employees out there at this U-Haul location that are probably sort of unaware of what's going on.
There they have. They've come out with, they're trying to open the door now. Well, I'm sure they have. You saw the guns. The guns are drawn right there on that driver. Let's hope that he stops. They have the driver's door open. They're going to probably yank him out at this point. That canopy is sort of in the way. We're not able to get the complete picture, but it looks like this may be over and he doesn't have a chance of taking off once again. Don, are you having a different angle?
Well, the best that we can do right now because of this canopy that's over the scene here, we're going to come around. And it looks as though they're having a struggle with him.
Wow.
Got him on the ground now.
Got him on the ground.
where the potential impairment probably comes into play, because most people with that many guns on them probably would have hopped out of that vehicle, but they literally did have to physically drag him out of that car. And now you can see these officers getting handcuffs on him and making sure that he is not armed, or she. We haven't even gotten a good picture of who this driver is. And again, if you're just joining us, this all started as a traffic stop, but no crime committed to begin with. They had reason to believe that this driver may have been impaired. It looks like this might be a woman, Don?
Yes, it looks like it may be a woman. She obviously is in tears. She's now handcuffed, and they are going to get her up, and they will search her. You may have to even bring in a female officer to do that. But at any rate, she does not, I really can't tell whether or not she is impaired, but there is a good possibility that may be part of the problem. We're not sure.
Boy, this is a rather surprise ending. We did have another chase come to an end pretty recently with a woman, but that's actually pretty few and far between with as many of these chases as we have covered.
Yeah, Eric Barajas here, just relieved Art, and yeah, luckily this came to a peaceful end. As far as we know, we didn't see any damage to other vehicles. No one was injured. They've gotten this lady out of the car now, and they're inspecting that vehicle as well as she's taken to the back seat of that patrol car. But this always could have been a lot worse, and that's the silver lining here, especially on Houston streets and what we've seen in the past.
Absolutely. Don, we were talking about this as the chase went on. It looks like they're using some sort of a blanket there to be able to conduct a search on this woman and maybe even get her seated there. But just a lot of patience that played out throughout this chase that went really across much of our city up on the north side, and cooler heads prevailing the whole time, right?
Well, that's right. I mean, we're very thankful that it ended this way. It's a shame that these chases have to go on as long as they do, but sometimes, and in this instance, it appears as though that all of that played out well, because nobody seems to be injured.
John, what was also interesting about this chase, as we've seen so many here in the Houston area, unfortunately, is it seemed like there were different tactics used. We saw a lot of boxing in, a lot of vehicles getting ahead of the car. So many times it seems like they just stay behind, several vehicles behind the vehicle that's being chased. It seemed like we saw different tactics and different maneuvers used by police on this one.
Well, you also have to understand, Eric, the fact that you've got multiple agencies involved: Houston Police Department, Harris County Sheriff's Department of Public Safety, and who knows who else is there. You've also got airborne, so there's a lot of communication amongst all of the officers, and not all are trained exactly the same way. So they all kind of have to get on the same page, and sometimes that can be difficult, as you can imagine, in a fluid situation like this chase.
All right, we want to mention as we continue our coverage here that you are now watching Eyewitness News at 4 p.m. And if you are just joining us, we'll get you caught up on what's happening here. We believe this chase started in Chambers County, and the Chambers County Sheriff says that a crime was not committed to begin with here, but they had reason to believe that this driver could potentially be impaired. As the chase continued, they called HPD to provide some backup, and this is where we saw this play out. Right along the East Tex Freeway, past Beltway 8, up through northeast Harris County. And Don was just talking about some of those tactics, all those different agencies and authorities staying some distance back. And then at one point, they managed to get the 59 totally closed and get spike strips across every single lane of that freeway, so that no matter what, this vehicle was going to end up running over those spike strips. That's actually a pretty incredible feat, because they're having to call up ahead and get all of those lanes closed down. We saw a total stoppage of the traffic there. And it worked very effectively, because right after that happened, this went from probably a 60-mile-an-hour chase to about 15 miles an hour, and we saw it end really right after that.
Yeah, again, luckily, no damage as far as we know that we could tell from watching this chase for at least more than the last half hour. So good news there as well.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's get some more breaking news right now. We'll get updated on that car chase a little bit later on. But right now, the Texas Education Agency has suspended the Rhodes School on Wallaceville Road for fire.
Wow.
At one point, the driver, a woman who did not want to be stopped, nearly ran over some troopers as they tried to get her out of the car.
It all ended at a U-Haul business in Kingwood. Channel 2's Sophia Beausoleil just got to the scene and is joining us live now with more on the story. Sophia?
The suspect was taken into an ambulance, and the car she was driving was just towed away. And authorities were here questioning witnesses, but they have just left. But you can see this is where the chase actually ended, here at the U-Haul Center. Now let's take a look at that Sky 2 video from earlier. So the chase involved multiple law enforcement agencies in multiple counties. Chambers County Sheriff's Office says the chase started around 3:25 this afternoon when police tried to pull the driver over, who was possibly under the influence. Authorities thought the chase was coming to an end on 59 in Houston, but the suspect then took off and nearly knocked over an officer. Now, the suspect was weaving in and out of traffic. At one point, it started to slow down, and then that's when she turned into the Kingwood area and into that U-Haul Center where she stopped and was taken into custody. Now, we did get video from a witness, and you can hear what the suspect was saying. She was repeating multiple times, "You're killing me, you're killing me." And we talked to an employee here who happened to see everything happen.
I guess you guys want me dead and stuff like that, just kind of talking erratically like that. She kind of stopped after, a few moments, a few minutes.
And you were just going about your business?
Yeah, just about a regular day. Like I say, we were fixing a couple of things under the canopy, and one of my coworkers, he had just stopped blowing it out, and she just came right through.
Now, at this point, we do not know the suspect's name or if she was possibly under the influence. That is all still under investigation. But as soon as we get any other updates, we will let you know. Reporting live from Kingwood, Sophia Beausoleil, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
It really is, Melanie, and in fact, we just reached out to authorities and are waiting to get an update on exactly what led to that chase, but it did all end here in this parking lot in a U-Haul. In fact, right as these employees were putting this awning, that is where the car ended up. Certainly quite a scare for them. She came in here along with a line of officers. The suspect was yelling, "You're killing me," to officers as she was arrested. Her car's tires were blown out after an hour-long high-speed chase ended in a parking lot. It all started in Chambers County just before 3 when she failed to stop at a traffic stop. Sky 13 shows the woman weaving in and out of traffic. The chase went north on 59. Authorities put out spike strips, causing her tires to go flat. Shortly after that, it appears she was going to pull over. Troopers approached her car, but she kept going, and it finally came to a stop near 494. She pulled into this U-Haul.
And she wouldn't stop. And the next thing I knew, we just had all the policemen and policewomen just completely trying to block her out, but she went past them.
She was handcuffed and placed into an ambulance. No word on what charges she could face or why she was running. Investigators say she was possibly impaired.
At JP Morgan, the only definition of wealth that matters is yours.
The breaking news we've been following since about 3:30 this afternoon. A woman leads police on a wild police chase from Chambers County into Kingwood.
Channel 2's Sophia Beausoleil is joining us live from Kingwood tonight with more on what she's learned about this chase and the woman who led it. Sophia.
Well, Bill and Dominique, whenever people arrive to a U-Haul center, they usually drop their vehicles right here, those rented trucks. Well, today employees got a very unexpected surprise. They got the end of a police chase, and we spoke with an employee who saw the end of it.
She really tried to avoid the police with all 4 of her tires flattened.
Steve Perkins was going about his day at the U-Haul center in Kingwood when he heard sirens.
And she just came right through. I'm talking about, it was crazy.
Chambers County Sheriff's Office says deputies tried to pull over the driver of a silver Volvo who appeared to be under the influence. Authorities say 58-year-old Alicia Kozubsky didn't stop and led police on a chase. Sky 2 video shows the woman driving fast on 59. After authorities put down spike strips, her tires popped, and she started to slow down. It looked like she was going to stop, but then took off and almost injured a deputy. The suspect then made a U-turn against oncoming traffic onto the feeder and pulled into a U-Haul center where state troopers pulled her out of the car and put her into custody.
I guess you guys want me dead and stuff like that, just kind of talking erratically like that, but she kind of stopped after, a few moments.
A nearby witness captured this video of the woman screaming at authorities and saying, quote, "You're killing me." She was then placed into an ambulance for evaluation. Now, at this time, we do not know the status of that woman and how she's doing when it comes to her mental health, but this is still very much under investigation, and as soon as we get any other new details, we will let you know. Reporting live from Kingwood, Sophia Bosley, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
And right now, breaking at 4, we have got live breaking news out of Northeast Houston. You're looking at a live picture from Air 11 where a police chase has just ended. And sort of in the middle of the screen as Air 11 rolls around, you'll be able to see the suspect. She is cuffed sitting in front of that game warden's truck. This began, we understand, as a routine traffic stop, an attempt up in Chambers County, ended up here in the Houston area off of 59, kind of in that Rankin area. Obviously, they have stopped here now in a parking lot of some sort.
Yeah, this chase had been going on for about 45 minutes. You can see one of the officers there talking to the woman. She's been yelling at the officers. In fact, when they finally got her to stop, and it was more than one attempt, she wouldn't get out of the car, and she was yelling at the officers. They have her covered in blankets. Interestingly enough, it's a Texas game warden truck that she's sitting in front of. So you have several agencies involved in this chase that, as we said, has lasted or did last for about 45 minutes. And it looked at one point when they were giving up on the chase, didn't want to endanger anybody's lives at this rush hour on a Friday evening. But then they did start chasing her once again. We've got some video there on the left. Is that?
Yeah, that is from when they finally were able to pull her over. As you can see, she does not want to get out of the vehicle. She is resisting as officers pull her to the ground. And that has been a dramatic chase we've been following as she wove in and out of traffic earlier. We'll keep on top of it and let you know what else is happening in this story.
Good news here. It doesn't appear anybody was injured.
You should get